got to have an intro, so that's it for RideADV.com.au. That's our intro. It's a couple of minutes early, so I might just hang everyone on there for a minute, and we're just going with some technical issues here at the moment. How we going, Troy? Are we up?
Refresh.
So yeah, so we're due to start at 8, so a little bit early. I have been locked down too long, Mark Tucker. That is so true. That's it there, Troy. On the right side, so you got to come up. Yes, Mark, I have been locked down too long. We've all been locked down too long, so that's just the way it is. Did you like that start button, did you, Mark? I can go and do it again if you want. So yeah, we'll wait a minute, and then we'll start with just probably a walk around the shed, and then we'll get into some questions. Aaron Murphy, hey mate, how you going, mate? Bob McLean, Dusty, how you going, mate? Thanks, Damo. I've got a Rooster's not here at the moment, so I'm drinking his what do you call him?
Dark and Stormy.
Dark and Stormies. So yeah, he's Rooster's missing out. G'day, Sam. How are you? Must be getting close to 8 o'clock. We got a time? Got a countdown?
Yeah, 2 minutes. You can.
2 minutes.
Clay Marks is up.
Clay Marks is up. There's a few getting on there, so be good. If this is a success, we will do more of them. I'm not saying we're going to do them every week, and I'd like to do maybe one a month or a couple a month, even once we're back in. And we can do other things like we can have a 700 night or a WR night or a basic maintenance night or something like that we can cover off. Troy, what do you reckon?
Yeah, how to cook a damper night.
How to cook a damper night. Yeah, we could do that. I might just see if Clay's around, actually.
Corey's in. Brendan's in.
Yep, that is a good looking. G'day, Clay.
How you going?
Good. Mate, we're only getting the top of your head. It's not a bad look, but there you go. Look at you go.
Is that
You're in
better?
a bit early. You're in a bit early. Do you always go off early?
No comment.
No comment. All right. Well, that's a test anyway. We can make sure you're in, but I'll get everyone started. Did you see the intro?
No. Sadly, I was getting a beer. Was it good?
If I get 2 Love Art likes, I'll do the intro again. Or actually, is it 8 o'clock?
7 o'clock now.
7 o'clock now. Okay, we're going to do the intro. You ready? You can go. I'll come back to you later,
Yep.
Clay. See you, mate.
See you guys.
All right, let's do the official shed time intro. Everyone be upstanding.
Impressive. Most impressive. But you are not a Jedi yet.
Calm down. It's live. Righto, Cade. You'll be happy to know, Cade, we do have a couple of KDMs in the shed. Not mine. I'm not that anti KDM, but that's Hollywood's KDM. It's in a million pieces, and that's Troy's KDM.
Do you want me to unveil it?
No unveiling. No unveiling yet. All right. I'll start with a basic shed tour, and then we'll get into some questions, because I'm sure a few people have got some questions. So for those that were on our last ride, the old Triton, she failed on the last ride, about 300,000 kilometres, and yeah, mechanically, suspension, drivetrain, the thing's gold, but yeah, diesel engines only go for so long. So we've put a new motor in that and a brake, and we're a bit lucky here on the acreage. We can get out and do a little bit on the bikes, plus we're in a big LJ. So there's my bike, it was out recently. New tyre machine we bought when we came up here. We were lucky to be able to use the tyre machine at tyres the bikes before, but so we've bought our own. Hasn't seen a lot of action since we got here. So tubes and oils, washers and stuff. My brain toolbox, and then into the spares. So most of those drawers and these things are loaded with spare parts for servicing and stuff. Then we've got spare forks, the left filter wash gear. We use Motul filter wash stuff, and we'll go through that one night as to why we use Motul and the benefits of it and why we've picked it. So and we'll go through that then.
Like our new shirts, mate.
Yeah, the new shirts are good. We'll cover those off a bit later. And then we've got our bikes in here, the Welding bench and the welder. So my F and the my F and the Fleet Teneros, my e-bike, the RideADV quad, and Gav, there's your bike, Gav. Look at that. CT18, yeah, it's pretty easy. CT18. CT18, look, there's a whole heap of arguments for that, Trent. A lot of people talk about the caustics in CT18. We use CT18, I think. It's pretty well what we use. Yeah, I have to use. Just don't leave it on real long. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Troy's WR, Troy's other WR, you've sold it, haven't you, mate? Mine's sold. Yeah, Joe Atherton, there's your bike tucked away there in the corner. One of our crew, one of our old high bikes to go back together and we'll sell it. So that's it. And this is your 700, Troy.
Yeah.
Which is what? So what's the history on this 700?
So this was the first one into the country, or one of the first.
It was
ones
one of the
country?
first 12 in the country. It was first one registered out on the road in private hands, which I had.
Yep.
So it was mine.
Yeah, so I got that off Greg, and it's done about, I think it's done about 24 now, I think 24.
Only ridden to church very carefully.
And back
Yeah.
sometimes.
Never, ever ridden hard. Never, ever ridden hard. All right. Well, has anyone got any questions before we go on to something else? That's what I'd like to know. Oh, Dad's watching. Look at that. CD18. Yeah, we use CD18. So, just like I said, I don't reckon we leave it on real long. We've gone through various stages, Trent. We've gone to the snow blowers that make it all really foamy. But you've actually got to spend the time. Can you get that bucket off the top of the fridge, please, mate? You've got to actually spend the time, we've found, and brushes. You've got to get in with the brushes and you've got to clean them. So chain brush, chain cleaner, Motul chain cleaner. And if we've got a real dirty bike, we put these on the drill. And you can get into various areas and clean it. So, yeah, if you're going to do it properly. To be honest, Rooster probably washes the best bike around here when he's got the time. Abby does a good job too. I'm a bit hit and miss. And you'll hear people go, oh, I don't use pressure washers and whatever. I've been using pressure washers for years. You just don't blast them into certain areas and whatever. So, yeah, Patrick, Carson, CD18's okay, mate, as long as you don't leave it on. And don't put it on a hot bike in the sun. That's probably the biggest thing. Any other questions we got there, Troy? A rack. I think you'll find that was the previous yes. Apologies. So staff's new. T700 rear tyres. Are you all on all 140? Yes. So we run 140s on all of the bikes. Can you wheel mine in, please, Troy, in the light? We run 140s on all our bikes. And when I say 140s, it's actually two 140s. So these here, and they actually happen to be side by side. This is a Scorpion MX mid hard. Right, that's a 140. All right, that's an Enduro 140. Where this is the probably Scorpion Rally, which is about to have a name change, that we traditionally run. These ones sit really nicely on the 4 1/4 inch rim, but this one sits better on a 2 1/2 inch rim. It really doesn't sit on the wider rim properly. So on my bike, Troy runs a Motos rear. Why do you run a Motos rear, Troy?
Because you put it on there.
Why did I put a Motos on yours? Because you wanted more kilometres than you did grip, didn't you?
No, because I was doing a little bit more road at the time.
Right. Yes, I will. I've got another question of Charlie. One more sec. So this is a 2 1/2 inch rim. You can see it's a lot narrower rim. And yes, I run a rim lock on this one. And that's the more aggressive knobby. Now, in all honesty, the speed rating is not adequate for that bike, and neither is the weight rating, to be 100% honest. It's okay if I'm in the Waddingans or around here, But if I was going on any sort of decent trip, that tyre won't do the extended time. And I'm better off with one of the other Pirellis. And you can clearly see the difference in the rim width. Substantial. Can you show how your racks protect the exhaust? Well, there's a set of one of their old racks, but the same. That's protecting obviously a high exhaust. Okay, and then Troy, you've got an acro on yours with a set of our racks. Now he's got the Moscow Moto plates on there, but without the plate, it's still sitting out here. So if that bike falls over, it's going to hit this, not so much that in there. All right, I hope that answers your question. Who asked the question? Charlie, yes, that should answer Charlie. Look, mate, and plus once you've got a bag on there, then it's sticking out here as well, so you've got the extra protection. All right. The acro is a very big exhaust.
Scott's got a question on the
Okay, I've just got a question. I'm 610 the amps mount, but I want to communicate. How can I wire the amps mount?
I want to commute.
Oh, you want to commute?
Scott.
I don't understand this question.
Just got a Montana 680T and
Yep.
the amps around there on the RS, but I want to commute. How can I wire the amps mount so it is removable rather than hardwired?
Oh, okay. So in the 680 mount, Scott, this one's got a 680 in here. There's two small screws in the back in here. Okay. If you take those two small screws out, you could be able to undo that, and then with the small screws out, you can push that out. It'll pop it. It'll push that out. It'll pop out, turn it sideways, and pull it through there. And then you'll just have the cord hanging there. Might have one we can do that over here. I'll get you to hold the camera for me. Can't believe all. Oh, there you go. You hold the camera there. Okay, Scott, if I'm understanding the question right, so this is your 680 mount. You pull up to where you want to go. If you undo this, put that in your Skyrocket. If you've taken those two screws out that are there, you can push that out. And Robert's your mother's brother. I'm pretty sure that's what you're after. If that's not what you're after, mate, let me know and we'll try and answer it. What side bags do you run on your racks? And can you get away without running straps over the seat? Yes, Corey. We run the ADV Works bags here. I'm pretty sure there's a set over here on the ground, isn't there?
Yeah, over here.
I'll put them on the bench here. Yeah, put them on the bench there. Can you hold that?
Yep.
Okay. So we've had a lot of racks, bags over the year, Corey. Years. I've known Corey for a long time. Hope your dad's well, mate. I like the racks, the bags, sorry, the straps, because it helps take a bit of support off everything. But I'm pretty sure you got your bride on the back, so that's why you don't want the straps. You might be able to put the straps under the seat too. There's another concept. Then put your seat back on. But if you can't, yep, these come off on these ADV Works bags. The other things I like about these bags, as opposed against the giant loop, this material is a bit more flexible. The giant loop's a bit more brittle. This valve, so you crack this valve, and I'll show you something. If I don't crack the valve, okay, and I go to roll the bag up, the bag's full of air. If I crack this bag, this valve, bang. These clips go in around and back into themselves here. Great concept. Oh, got off. You know this when you're on TV. I'm not on TV. So that's like that. Once you hook them all up, you hook these ones up, they come around, you snug them tight. They are great value. They're the 20 litres, okay? And I might just grab down a Moscow Moto and Troy, you can run us through the Moscow Moto, seeing how you use them. I'm not as rich as you.
Okay, so I'm no expert on the detail, but I did do a lot of homework on those when I bought them. I like to go for longer rides, and I actually like camping as opposed to some people who like to stay in motels and puff it. And just take
It's Mr. Puffet, yeah, we've been for this.
Yeah. These are a really, really well made heavy duty bag. They do come with a lot of extras that you can put on there. You can actually put a bladder in the back of it here and have a little tap. You can carry extra fuel in it. The thing I like about them more than anything else probably is how quickly they go on and off.
Show us.
So come on over.
Can you show us, Troy?
Why not?
Have you got one you prepared earlier?
I did prepare one earlier.
You want to go around the other side?
So once you've fitted up these to the actual rack, it's only a case then of mounting this on here. And what I'm thinking about doing is getting another set of these. I'll borrow some money off my mate Greg, he's quite wealthy. Put them on the wall so I can just hang them up rather than hook them. But you simply
hang your mum, right?
Can you come over from there? Simply get it on there and drop it in, and she's locked in like that. So if I'm going to, I did a run on, and I had a different brand bag, the big U-shaped one that we won't mention any brands, good quality thing. But when I rode down to Melbourne, if I decided to stay in a motel, I'd be looking out the window every night.
I thought you were too tight to stay in a motel.
There was this one time back at band camp, I stayed in a motel.
One time at band
one time.
Did you have a flute?
Oboe. So with this, I can actually get it off pretty quickly. It's just a simple case of the release tab here. You can see that there. So all you have to do is release that and pull it up, and off she comes like that. And Bob's your uncle.
So, so just to share knowledge there, yeah. What are they worth?
I'm trying to remember now. I think you bought them for me for my birthday.
Bullshit.
They were expensive, but yep. if you go to the site, you'll see they actually have their costings on it.
Yep.
But I can't remember. I'd rather not quote in case I get it wrong. But these are the 25 litres. I think you can get a 30 or a 35, which I thought were too big, and you can get smaller again. They've got all sorts of extra functions and features and webbing that you can attach things to, roll over like most bags do. But you can actually attach extra parts to the webbing. But I've just found them to be excellent, and they're very, very durable. You can attach more stuff to the bottom. But because I like to take a tent, the whole box and dice, I found them to be really, really good. I've just got to get them, I've just lowered this down a little bit because they were up too high, and it didn't allow me to put things across the top if I wanted to put the tent across the top. But just once you set them up, they're easy on, easy off, as you've seen. Okay.
And they're good racks too. I know Blake sells those.
Yeah,
just while we're covering those racks off, just so everyone knows, we have racks in stock. So we are good to go with racks at the moment. Okay, good to ship. All right, we've just Abby's just trying to sign in, so we might have yarn to Abby. We haven't seen Abby for a long time, have we? Here she is. Hello, Abs.
Hello.
How's so for those that don't know, Abby lives up near Bathurst, near Sunny Corner, and you've had a fair bit of snow up there, haven't you?
Recently, yes, definitely.
And that doesn't make for good riding?
Well, it makes for excellent riding. Just can't be motivated. Got too much work on at the moment.
You're like me, you like riding in the cold. You know how I like riding in the cold.
Oh, I like riding in the snow. The cold's a bit of a negative, but yeah.
Very good. Just hanging with us for a sec, Abs. We'll finish the bags. So just with bags, so these bags are sold at Adventure Moto. We had a lot to do with the testing, some ideas. They're a great concept. They're a good bag, good warranties. We haven't had any problems with them to date. We had a couple of issues, to be honest, with the pre-production ones, but since then we've had no dramas at all. And to be honest,
there's no music coming out the bag.
Oh God, I'm dealing with
this one here. This one here was used. It's not marketed that way, but Greg filled it once as a goon bag, and that was his tap, and that was how he drank out. That's how he got out of the Simpson one time, just a big goon bag, goon rider, goon bag, right? Yeah.
You done?
I'm done.
All right, beautiful. So Abby, what can you share with everyone? How's your little WR? You got it back. You didn't have your WR for a long time.
Oh, I was really down in the dumps when I didn't have the bike with me. Really, really good to get it back though. Yeah, it's just as soon as I got it back, just straight out into the bush riding it.
And a couple surprises when you got it back.
Yeah, new muffler. Which it sounds so good. It sounds so much better. It sounds more like a 450 than 250.
Nice.
New bash plate. What else was there?
I can't
There was
remember.
a leaky fork seal, if that counts too.
Yeah, no, you did that. You did
I
that.
did not.
Yeah, no, we're holding you
I
responsible for that.
fixed it.
You fixed it?
I think
We
so.
have to share. We'll have to share that video up on the website on how you did the you did a tutorial on how to do how to use a fork doctor seal doctor properly. We got a question, haven't we, Troy?
With my dad's awesome commentary.
High mount camel versus standard mount arrow. Any concerns with higher weight of the camel?
I'll come back to you later, Abs. Okay, so anyway, no, the muffler is really, really light. Look, if I'm going to be honest, look, he's done a really good job. This is out of the way here, and I know a lot of people like this bend up into here and run it across there. Look, I think it's as ugly as a hatful, but I love the sweep of this as the rally pipe. I've never touched it, hit it, done anything with it. The can is so light. It's such a light can that, to be honest, it's probably a lesser quality muffler by a long stretch than an acro, but smaller, lighter. No, I definitely like it there. I think just might start it up here.
Once you hear it.
So for those that have been following, and we're on the 700 rally, will know that those set of headers down there were actually on the bike at the time, and they're a full open header with no catalytic converter. I've gone back to the standard headers because it definitely lost bottom end without the back pressure that the catalytic converter provides. It showed on the dyno and it showed on the arse dyno. You could feel it by the seat of your pants. And it had a bit of a crack to the tip of the exhaust. It pulled up the top like a train. It went all the way, all the way 10,000 revs down its head. And it's probably lost a bit of that off the top. But to be honest, we don't ride them up at 10,000 revs until we sell them to Troy. Before we sell them to Troy, we do. But most of the time we don't. Yeah. And this is a new bash plate on here too, which I'll cover off in a minute. So this bash plate we ordered, like we do everything else. We started doing our videos, and I started to get really, I don't know, concerned or just watching people. They go and get a bash plate like over there, and they go, "That's the best bash plate," and you think, how can you be sure of that? We've got 6 different bash plates in our fleet. We've got 2 we don't use anymore. So, you know, we've tried all different sorts of bash plates. This one here's got a sticker on them. It's not going to last, let's be honest, but it looks flash to start with. They've all pretty well got that linkage protector on the bottom. But this one around here comes around and goes all out, protects the stator case and everything. It's got some venting in the front. It's a nice bash plate, and it's made by, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. So I got it out of America or somewhere. So one thing I can be proud of what we do is we buy all of our stuff. Yeah, we get some stuff discounted, but we pay for everything, and that gives us free right to say whatever we want about it. What do you got there, big fella? Any questions?
No, I think it's right.
No questions. I might have a quick mouthful of drink. Okay, so what's happening with this year's events? So remaining this year, we've got the WR Rally, we've got the police ride, and we've got the 10-day Flinders Rangers ride. If I'm going to be honest, I can't see us getting the Flinders Rangers ride off in October, in which case it'll probably go to March or April next year. We'll keep all the bookings, we'll transfer everything, and we'll try and get people on those dates and help out with that. So that's not a firm decision. That's probably what's going to happen. Police ride, it has been postponed now, and we won't make a decision on that till the middle of October, but we'll run that this year if we can, even as late as sort of middle of November. But after that, it'll go to probably March next year. And again, we'll move all the bookings. If you can't make that one, well then we'll fold your booking back to next year's proper dated police ride, and we'll run a different route. So if you do both, you'll get a new route. WR Rally, we should be able to get that off this year sometime. If not, again, we'll move it to sometime early next year, and we'll run it. And I've got a couple of extras we'll throw on that for people hanging in there. It's been a tough couple of years. It's been a tough 2 years. It's tough on a crew. It's tough on us all here, because you don't know where you are, and we have all of our guys and girls take a lot of pride in what we do, and we want to do the best thing possible. And you know, it's very hard to keep motivating yourself to get ready to do it, and then find your dates are getting flipped all the time. But yeah, we got good people, and we'll make it happen. We had great conversation today with Yamaha, who was so behind and so supporting all these events, and the events that are ridden, you know, people ride Suzuki's KTM, they're into all that, and so it's great support. So that's into next year.
Question, yeah, if you want it now, or okay. So Trent's asked whether or not the T7 is economical to maintain as a long-term bike compared to, say, something like his 701 that he rides.
Okay, so just flipping around into my bike, I guess. Look, this has got 35 or 36,000 k's on it now. I've done one set of chain sprockets. I've done wheel bearings, one set of front brake pads, multiple sets of backs. That's it. That's.
Can you compare it to the 701? Not really, because we don't ride them.
Hand on my heart, I don't ride a 701. I have spent a full day on a 701 and been lucky enough to do that. And the apples and oranges. One's a big twin cylinder that feels light enough when you ride it, and the transports are great, and it's very stable. Where the 701's a bit more twitchy. It's a bit like a big trail bike.
Animal.
A lot more vibration. Yeah, look, maintenance side of it's very easy. And we'll do a maintenance night on them. They are very easy. They're very tractable. We run our tyres down to, as soon as tyres I was getting around here, we run them down to nothing. They put their power to the ground nicely. They're pretty economical if you ride them properly, but if you really want to get up them, they'll burn fuel and they'll chew up tyres.
Mate, Clint asked, have you tried the Michelin Anarchy Wild tyre?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so start of 2020, I spent 3 days at St Albans. I went down with 9 different fronts and I think 8 different rears, or front 8 fronts, and did 134. I ran Anarchy Wilds, I ran Continentals, I ran Pirellis, I ran a couple of different motors. Something else I used. I've got all the data anyway. Look, I think the AX41 Bridgestone and the Anarchy Wild are very similar. They don't have the knob height that a Pirelli or a Motos has. So I think they're more of a 50-50 tyre myself. They're good on dry dirt, gravel roads, they're fine. But if it starts to get soft dirt, mud, or anything where you need the knob to push into the ground and grab purchase, no, they're not that good. A couple of, we also had a flat with, I only want to have flat and whole type test, and I've also seen a sidewall taken out of one, so they might be a bit softer on the sidewall. That's just from what I've seen and what we've tested.
Okay, that answers that question.
Any other questions?
Yeah, there was one there, but I'll have to go to that.
I'll take that. So just talking about the shirts. I'll spring this off me because I hate being on the radio. Oh, Jackson's on. Look at Jackson go. So, people, I just noticed my dad wants to join. I think he must have pushed the wrong button. Like, seriously. So we'll get Lincoln on.
Get him on.
So we'll get Lincoln on. So Lincoln, if you do we run a rim lock on the front? I do on these wheels, Adam. I did on these wheels, but no, on none of the other bikes do we have a rim lock fitted. Most of the time, crew bikes run between, I think the crew's got to run 26 PSI. So, yeah, they don't have any great problem. But you might see it creep a little bit over time. So Crash, why don't we get Crash on? Crash has got a good point, so we'll get Crash on now. So come on, Crash. Oh, we got Lincoln, first of all.
Yeah. You wanted
Billy
me.
Where's your shirt, mate?
It's in the cupboard somewhere. Liz ironed it.
Liz ironed it. Wow.
Yeah.
So for those that may not have met Lincoln, or Billy as we nickname him, he runs a workshop for Chris Watson Motorcycles. Knows his shit. That's exactly true. How many times you represented in the Yamaha Technician Grand Prix?
4 or 5.
4 or 5. What's your best finish?
Yeah. Second.
So this year you got it. Now you like official RideADV, mate. This year you got to win it, right?
Yeah, well, that's the plan.
That's the plan. Maintenance. So we had a question earlier. I think you might be able to help. Just I covered off what I knew. Maintenance differences between a 701 and a 700. You look after both.
700s are pretty easy. Like 10,000k for minor services. Major one at 40. That's about it, really. Spark plugs every 20. 701, you're doing services every 10 as well, they say, but you're doing valve clearances every 10. And a few other bits and pieces that need a bit more maintenance than the 701, than the T7, really.
So, mate, are you saying that the valve clearances on the 701s every 10,000?
Yeah, every 10.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And are they hard to do?
No, they're not hard to do, hour and a half to do them, but generally when you're getting in there, you're adjusting them as well, where you get these 2-cylinder Yemi engines and you're getting in there, you're just about wasting your time. You get in there, you check them, you go back out.
Yep.
And normally first time you're not doing them at 40, 80,000 you might adjust one, but 40,000 you're not adjusting them most of the time.
Right. Do you, and because we haven't discussed this, I'll put you on the spot. When COVID's over, can we get you down here one Friday night to do an air clearance spark plug, trackside spark plug video on the 700?
Yeah, we'll give it a go. We'll get yours and get the hose in it and try it out.
You've got a weapon, haven't you?
Yeah, yep.
And we'll share that up on those. All right. No, good on you, Billy. And so how did you get the nickname Billy? Billy Mcstroker.
You put in a Facebook chat and then it stuck.
Yeah, and I put in a Facebook chat, I was typing away and it auto-corrected to Billy Mcstroker and it stuck ever since.
So I'm going to blame Siri for that one.
Yeah, good on you, Siri. Good to talk to you, big fella.
Yeah, I'll talk to you,
See you,
mate.
Bye. Another question.
Okay, so somebody asked you earlier, and sorry we didn't get to that, but somebody asked you earlier, what size rotor packs do you guys carry on your when you're doing your rides?
Do you want to grab the 2 rotor packs? They're behind the bench. There's 2 there. So we traditionally, I'll get to long range tanks in a minute, Mark. Traditionally, we carry, what's the one on the left? I think it's a 7 point, your right, my left. It's a 7.6.
She's a
7.6, yeah.
7.6.
So we normally run a 7.6. Okay, and that's the little one we run on the small box. If you ever have a doubt about how good these things are, have a go at the love this thing's had.
Chunks.
Look at the absolute love, and I think Abby is responsible for this one. Look at the love they've had. No leaks. No. I'm having trouble to help people like that. So that way your spout goes to the top. So we had one with the spout down. Does anyone know why we were running one with the spout down? There's a good question. Any new toys in the workshop we could have a look at? Well, undercover. It's undercover. We'll see. Long range fuel tanks. Mark. How are you, Mark, from South Australia? Listen, yeah, we're big fans of the Camel. There's reasons for that, and I'll go through them just briefly. There's 3 options at the moment. I can't comment too much about their turbies. a Cherbys, a Service. What else have we got?
A GPS.
A GPS. Okay, let's start with the Camel Tank here featured on my bike. It's now 5.6 litres or something. It's expanded a little bit. I have had it come down, touch a swing arm once because the bolts at the back came loose. That was my fault. Other than that, has not been an issue. It pumps out of that first. The centre of gravity, if you look, is actually lower than the main fuel tank. So that's good. You have a little bit of weight behind the rear axle, which we always try and avoid, but it burns that top little piece off first. They're a great option. I just noticed the Venture Motor had $100 off on those too. So that's one option. The other options are the Safari and the Acerbis tanks. The Acerbis is 22 litres. The Safari is 25 litres. The one thing I can say, and I will say, is when we ran the suspension, there's some different suspension options. We ran a tractive suspension option, which raised the bike 30 mil at each end. It made a noticeable difference to the low speed and the high speed handling of the bike when the center of gravity was raised. So I am not keen to run any more weight up high there. And that said, I have ordered an Acerbis tank, a service tank.
Test it out.
What's that on? Acerbis?
Acerbis
tank.
Acerbis.
And I'm going to put that on Crash's bike so he can deal with it. I'll get that in a sec. He'll do it. It's 22 litres, so they'll take it out of this, the 16 here and the 5, so we're at 21, so another litre more. The Safari tank holds 25 litres. It goes much higher. It's much uglier, so I'm pretty sure Safari in Latin means how to make a motorbike look ugly. I've had quality issues, expansion of their tanks on WRs over the years. We don't run them. They're an Aussie product. I'd love to put my hand on my heart and say we could support them, but I can't. So that's where we're at with those. So that answers that for you, hopefully.
Okay, so we've got a really good question from Martin. Martin says he leads a ride in the Flinders Ranges. Some guys were riding T7s and they struggled a fair bit in the sand. In brackets, it says rider skill. Anyway, any suggestion for the sand riding, i.e. pressures, tyres, or anything that I can pass on that would be particular to the T7?
If it's constant sand, Martin, was it, Martin?
Yeah, Martin.
If it's constant sand, Martin, you're going to do the sand for 80 kilometres or something, then yeah, I'd be getting the tyre pressures down, probably getting the fronts down around 16, and I'd be getting the back down around 14 or something like that. Being mindful you don't have rim locks, but you don't want to be smashing it too hard. And look, these bikes are sensational sand. I personally think it's almost better than my WR 250R, which I've done the double Simpson crossing in. We've done 11-hour crossing in one way, carrying all our gear. I think there's a better. I think the fact that you've got instant on-tap power and torque does make a big difference. So,
can you back it up, mate? You're going to go and do a double on that now?
Well, we can get out there. We'll go out. But yeah, it's just lean back. It's steer the bike with the foot pegs. If you have a steering damper too, back the steering damper off is my advice. If you can ride across the top of the sand and across the top of the ruts, then yes, you want a steering damper to stop the high-speed deflections of the handlebars and the front wheel. But if you're riding in the ruts, and most people are, in the slow-speed stuff, then you want to back the damper off because the damper will fight the bike and fight the steering. So that's an important thing that I've found over time. And yeah, as my good friend Jacko says, just full send it.
Full send. Paul, what's the other grip you're running, mate?
I run a Pro Grip, mate. Most of the time, it's a motocross grip. I only have little hands, so it makes my penis look bigger. But I only have a little hand, where the standard grip that comes on the bike is a much longer grip. It's more of a road bike grip. You can see how much of my hand's hanging off the side there. Okay. I run this standard grip. I like a smaller grip. I don't like a bulky grip. It makes my hand sore. And all of my bikes have the Wyndham RM mid-bend bars.
Patrick wants to see you do a double crossing. He's all for it.
Good on you, Patrick.
Another one there asking about short water crossings. What's your advice on the short water crossings, maybe coming in and then exiting from that point?
So short water crossing for me is again, I wouldn't like my damper real set up real tight. I might reach down and flick the damper. Whoa, what happened here? I might flick the damper off and take the steering out. It's toes up on the foot peg, so you balance really well. So I'm not going to need my back brake. I'm going to be in the gear I want to be in. Toes on the foot peg, so I can steer the bike really well. And just pick a gear, cover the clutch, so I've got a finger on the clutch in case I need to regulate the power or regulate the drive with the clutch. Finger like that, one steady commitment, not too fast, then again not too slow. So if you're doing a crossings like Barry Station, where it's full of all the slimy round green boulders, you want to go fast enough so you're skipping across the top of them, so the tire's not making a real purchase in between the round knobs, but you don't want to go too fast where you cause too much of a spray or cause it to slide on the knobs, on the tires, on the rocks. Okay, I'm going to try and get Crash. Crash, can you push the button and join us, please, mate? Got any other questions?
Just Mark made a comment then saying, you know what little hands mean, don't you?
Wear little gloves.
That's it, little gloves.
Thanks very much for cutting the right Mark's 700. You need to get yourself a 700, Mark, and I'll send you, and you can buy a set of grips off me. Little hands, little gloves, Mark Fratter, for sure. If Greg puts the grips on, he puts them on slightly out of alignment to annoy you as a power struggle. School teachers, what can I say? So, should we go and have a look at what's under the tarp? Like, seriously, under the cover? People do want to know, while...
This is only going like local, isn't it? I don't want everyone knowing about this project. If we're amongst RideADV.
All right, what's under the cover? Here we go. People noticed last video there was a cover and they want to know what was on it. So will you do the honours?
I sure will.
Ready? Go. There you go. You had one job. You had one job. TDR 125L. Well spotted.
The beast. Electric start.
With a flat battery. Let's not show him that. Tell him who asked the water crossing question. Who asked the water crossing question? Oh, come on. Well, you need to go back to the computer now. That's.
It filled up. I don't know how that works once you go past it. That's
you scroll. You scroll.
What's that?
I don't know. Let me go back to the questions. Scott Kemp. Yeah, thanks. I think they were actually lined up, Scott. I think that you've got a death grip on the handlebars, and as you're hanging on for dear life, when I'm trying to catch you because I can't catch you, I think you're twisting the grip. That's what happens, I think.
Yeah, I can't see that.
Oh, Jacko asked the question.
Jacko, was it?
Yep. Right, everyone. Fun police is over now. Fun time's over. Here he is. We're going to see you. Only see you borrowed, mate.
It's all right, mate. That's it. That's the COVID haircut.
Oh, fair income. You need to get a cap.
I need to get one, do I?
Yeah.
Well, I can't. I can't dodge the thing. That's old age.
How is COVID for you down there, mate?
Like everyone, mate. It's a bit of a testing time, that's for sure. Okay. Everything's dropped.
Really, top of your head, I got to tell you.
You can live with that, can't you?
I'm not the only person.
That's just the way it is, bro.
Mate,
I have to put the mood lighting on.
Oh, mood lighting. How many motel rooms have we shared over the years, Crash?
Too many. The standard answer?
How many times have you used the mood lighting?
Never.
See,
you're ignoring the globes out of the lights, so they're not on for long.
That's it. Hey, yeah, you brought up a good point in your questions before, and we didn't get to it, or talk about the headset bearings. All of our Teneras, when we put them into service, we've been spoilt with the WRRs, I guess. We hadn't touched the WRR headset bearing or anything in the whole time, never once. And we never had an issue. We had a bike. I thought the steering damper was playing up. It was my bike. highest mileage one, and the lower bearing was shot. And funnily enough, we kept lifting the bike up on the stand, like Troy's is over here, and you turn the steering side to side, and we found nothing. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I can't understand it. But when we undid the nut in under here, which is under the steering damper, I guess we need one that hasn't got a steering damper. When we undid this nut here, 27mm nut, straight away, as soon as we released the pressure off the nut, the steering felt notchy, and the lower bearing cup, there's a cup or cone, Wayne?
Mate, the bearing's the cup, isn't it? No, it's the other way around. The bearing's the cone.
The bearing's the cup. So the cone was badly notched. So yeah, we had to replace all the and we only replaced the lower bearings. And if I'm going to be honest, and I'll be honest here, Rooster's bike, we were in a mad hurry when we found it, and the steering was pretty bad. We hadn't got to it, so we only replaced the cone. We greased it and sent it, and I'm pretty sure it's still like that.
How many Ks have on them when that happened?
We found all of them were going under 10,000 Ks. You got to get the bike and do it in the first 3,000 or 4,000 Ks.
Yeah, I think so.
And the guys in South Australia, Western Australia, Northern Territory, and back of Queensland, that'll be even worse. And most of those guys will already be familiar with steering bearings going, because they do a lot of straight line running. So that's something there. What else can you share with your fans, Crash?
Fans?
Not
much, mate. Just trying to keep the family together. You know what it's like. It's pretty hard on everyone at the moment. Everyone's
it is
doing the right thing, but no, it's all right. This sort of thing's good. Get out and talk to people as much as you can.
Yeah, well, we'll keep, we'll wait and see what they say at the end of this, and if it proves to be popular, we'll do Friday nights until such time as we're out of lockout. I think there's no reason, and I'm happy to get questions added to this during the week, and if someone wants something particular, then we can if we can help, we will cover it off.
Yeah, that's
more than happy. So I was sharing before. Did you hear that we're going to get you a bigger fuel tank?
Yeah, I heard that. Thanks for that.
That's all right, mate. That's all right.
Got the tanks on. I mean, we even with the rotor packs on the bikes we're running, all the rides we did, I don't think we ever had problems where we weren't getting fuel range and that with things.
100%. And this was one of the big things that everyone was screaming from the ceilings, the fuel range. And look, to be honest, I was one of them was worried at the start. It wasn't until you and I got west of Condobolin that it started to become an issue, and we never ran out and couldn't get to where we were going. Maybe because, it's a bit like a cycle race. You seem to slipstream me all the time, and I break the wing and do all the hard work. I would run out before you and then have to empty my rotor pack in. I think you might have been beside me, just touching my brake, causing it to drag.
I think so. I had a little rope on the back, just you were dragging me along.
Yeah,
I was riding on your coattails.
So we didn't have any actual fuel range problems until we went west, and then it wasn't really an issue either. For me, I liked the rotor pack, but it became an issue where we couldn't carry enough if we were doing away trips. So you had one rotor pack and one bag. I don't like the idea of going rotor packs and bags out. I think it detracts terribly from, you start to get too wide and you get this pendulum effect back behind the center of gravity, and I'll show it on my bike in a minute. Just ruins the handling of the bike. And while you might be out west and you're cruising or something, for me it's that, and the suspension and tyres, for me it's that last minute thing when I misread something. People talk about, that maybe we'll run a softer tyre than normal. Well, I like that tyre to be there at that instant when it's all gone pear-shaped, when I've missed something or haven't been concentrating. And you and I talk all the time about how concentration, and it's 90% of what we do. But you misread your GPS, or you've just made a mistake, or just something's popped up. That moment there, that's when the better quality, stickier tyres, better suspension, better brakes, that's all those things, and the better setup on your bike comes into play. And that can be the difference between scraping it around the corner, hitting the G out, coming out the other side, and getting a helicopter ride, eh?
That's it. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, another maintenance thing I was thinking of too, the fellas should check a fair bit, is just run the screwdriver around them spokes of a night sort of thing after a few days, and just you might catch a loose spoke and that won't develop into a bigger problem later on, you know.
Yeah, you've always been good with that, actually. When we've had overnights and just checking around, I guess we get busy with doing other things, but you've always kept a good eye on that, you and Rooster especially. So that's been good. We've got to switch to Rooster shortly. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I was only thinking, this could be the first year you and I haven't done one of our big trips, mate.
Yeah, it's due this year, isn't it?
Yes,
Still got
it is. Yeah, still got a bit to go. We might get something in.
He's hoping.
No, he's hoping. That's for sure. That's for sure. It's just and on the suspension, because you've been involved in all the suspension testing from the get-go and probably provide more feedback than most. You've now on the full Ollins bike, and you've been on the full Ollins bike for a while. While it wasn't spot on out of the box either, was it?
No, not really. I think you tend to find most of them suspensions, they're pretty right with what they say. The best setting generally is right in the middle. That's generally what they want, but you'll fine tune it a little bit either way, a tiny bit, but they're usually pretty close, you know, you generally find. So, you know, the biggest thing is the amount of money they cost each, you know. You want to spend that much money on them or not, you know.
Well, that fork kit, that Ollins fork insert kit on your bike is the same cost as my total Technic suspension package.
Yeah.
And now I put the Technic package against the Ollins for actually being better. Your rear shock costs the same as 2 full Technic suspension packages.
Yeah.
That puts
I
it in
mean,
perspective.
riding with what Nick's done now, it's pretty hard to, you know, you want to be throwing some money away if you want to go and spend $4,000 or whatever it is on, you know, chasing something. I don't think it's there anyway. I think that what Nick's got is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you see blokes like Joe Morgan and that who had suspension done elsewhere, and then like they rode the Technic ones at the rally, and they were straight on to swapping over, and Peter Smart and blokes like that. It's proven Nick's case by waiting so long and doing so much development to get it to where it's at.
Oh, definitely. And that's the idea of it, is to try and save the average punter from having to overspend, you know.
Yeah, I was a bit frustrated with the speed which it was going at a lot of the time, but I can now stand back and see how clever he is and why he's hung on for so long to achieve what he's achieved. There's a bit of in-house drawing and stuff going on too, and pistons and stuff being made up to get to it too.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, he's
All
right to go.
No worries. Well, we might go and find Rooster, and then we might wind this up. And is there any more questions? Come on, Troy, while you've been holding the phone.
I haven't got my glasses on.
All right. Thanks, Crash.
No worries, mate.
See you, bud. I'll go and look at them here. Just going through. The crew bikes don't run them, but I like Oxford. So, Big Mickey Strong.
Mick, yep.
G'day, Mick. So Mick has got, but Mick, you've got giant hands. You've got huge hands. But yes, Oxford do make a good heated grip. The thing I don't like about them, Mick, is I'm a bit soft, as we know. I like a grip that's a bit softer, where the Oxford grips are a bit harder, like a bit more like a hard plastic. So we might get Mick on next time. I think we'll see if we can find Rooster. You want to chip in here, Rooster? Any time? Where is he? Let's add him. So come on, Rooster, you can do it. It's been a bit strange in the shed. Here he is.
There you go.
Good, mate. It's been a bit strange in the shed not having Rooster around. Rooster would be at the shed 2 times a week as a rule. Every ride we do. minimum. Every ride we do, we haven't seen
Sorry,
roosters.
I've got it covered, mate. I'm very good on the tools. You can see some of my magical
You
work
can see how good it is
right here. See that?
Oh, perfect.
See, welded it together. Can't get that
What
sucker.
the hell's
open.
that for?
How are you, Rooster?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Just enjoying here, sitting and drink. Yeah, enjoying a drink, sitting here,
You know what I'm doing?
drinking my drinks.
Drinking your dark and stormies, mate.
We're missing
What's
you
it
here.
been?
You span
What's
your
it
magic.
been?
That's for sure.
2 months? 2 months?
Sorry?
Been about 2 months now?
Been over 2 months, yeah. 26th
Yeah.
of June. 26th of June.
He's getting towy. I have to keep chaining the bikes down.
Oh, I'm lucky I got one of the WRs here, so I can have a muck around on.
There's a funny story to that, eh? You want to tell that story, Rooster?
Oh, well, little Gregory here forgot he had it.
I rang Rooster one day and I'm chatting about this and chatting about that, and he goes, "Well, you know, I've got the white and purple WR," and I'm like, "Oh." So I'd done a full bike count, and I'm chatting about this and chatting about that. And he goes, "Good job, champ." I did a full bike count and missed it, and Rooster had it. I didn't even know, so yeah, that was pretty funny. How's
Up in
work going?
Western. Oh, work's going good. Just can only do what we can do.
You're
Really?
in it every week, aren't you? Every day.
Every day in an LGA area.
And so you've got to have multiple tests, yeah?
Every 3 days. So,
And yeah.
what was that?
You haven't been pregnant yet?
No, not pregnant yet. I keep getting violated. It's not fun.
You're having a competition with Wayne to see who can get the longest hair.
Yeah, she's pretty long at the moment.
Give me a look at his scraggy ass beard. I'm telling you. Give us a look at this beard, Rooter. Yeah, right.
It's not that bad, mate.
Look at your hair. Look at his hair sticking out over his ears.
Look, the mullet's coming.
So has anyone got any questions for Rooster, or have we just have we run out of question time? Nick Strong, Oxford. Maybe we can put Oxford grips on your next one, Mick. Our next question: Garmin Zumo XT. You've seen him fail at the connection. Top pin, the bike is bent, and the retailer said it is a warranty repair. Let's go over here to the bike. You wanna guide me here? Where am I? All right. So I have, and I'll talk about these now because I have a Montana 700. I thought the Montana 680's been 650, then 680 has been like the backstop. I thought this has got to be better. Not overly happy with it. I've had 2 cradles, and this one plays up too. It's good, nice firm cradle, but I've had charging issues. The other thing is when you turn the key on, the XT Zumo, she's on, she's ready to go. This one here would still be booting up if the connection was any good, but yeah, the battery's gone flat, and it's still to boot up. This is in night mode now, so it's not as bright, but it's been great. Now, to your point about this connection, so this top pin, I only have 2 pins there, but or are you talking about this? You might have to clarify, but we did have problems with those pins not protruding properly on the early 396 Zumos and some of the 595s or 590s. I actually ended up putting a dob of solder, just to put a dob of solder on there, making the difference. What I don't like about these is when you put them on, that's it. Now, so if you can just bring the camera in, you don't hear a click or anything. They don't go anywhere, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's just not been overly happy with how it sounds like it goes on. But look, people, if you really want to know anything about GPSs, Mark Fratter is your man. What Mark Fratter doesn't know about GPSs isn't worth knowing. So if Mark Fratter's there, you've got to tell people, don't tell him GPSs. He knows GPSs, and those that are on the high country knows what I'm talking about. So, mate, if it is that pin sunk in, yeah, maybe put a dog of solder on it. Yeah, you're not going to get a warranty at it, which is disappointing because it might be a warranty issue, I think. Answers that. Yep. Oh, the reason I don't like the Montana 700 too is on this one, if I want to go somewhere and I've got a track in, I want to make a diversion, closest fuel or something, bang, 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 I'll go. this thing can never calculate where it wants to go. And if it does find the closest fuel, it's all of a sudden 400 kilometres away when you know it's 14 k's down the road for some reason. So that has been an issue with those. So, yeah, I don't know. All right, pass me the phone for a sec, and I'll see if Dave O'Rourke's around, because he was going to tell us a bit about the new, do I run a pre-filter? Oh, yeah, quickly we'll do the pre-filter.
Yeah. Quick.
So we've done the seat mods. I can't claim these seat mods. This is from Troy Matson in Victoria. So key in, back seat out. We've got these little bits of hose here. So this seat goes in, locks on here, and these sit against a bit of hose. So that's that. Key in, out. I don't have one on my bike at the moment. There you go. I picked the wrong bike. And that's a different top.
Jump on my bike.
I'll take the closest bike. Who's this? Let's crash.
Can you get into it? Yeah. Look how quick days dismount, hey? Look at
that. There you go. And most of our bikes, thanks to Rooster, have a spare air filter, and normally a spare pre-filter. Rooster, see, you're not here, no pre-filters.
No, what's going on?
I don't know, mate.
So, do you want to talk to them about the tank cutting the top of the filter? How I put that bit of rubber in on the sharp edge? Do you remember
that. Does he look like he remembers?
Yeah, how we found that they were cutting holes into them, into the top of them. It was from the tank. Up inside there.
Up in here?
Up in there, yeah.
So what have you done? It's on your bike, is it?
Yeah, so I cut a bit of fuel hose, put a slit down the length of it, and there's a fold of steel there, from the tank. Okay. And over time, it puts a hole in the filter, so then it's no good.
We were rubbing some of the filters, weren't we?
Yeah, so if you grab one of the hopefully freshly washed ones.
Is that it there?
That's it there, yep. Over about 3,000 Ks, it'll put a hole in it.
Yeah, right. So there's two different springs in there.
Yeah, one for the blue, one for the red.
That's a good point, Rooster.
Yeah, very good point.
Thank you for that.
So over 2,000 or 3,000 Ks, you reckon that'll be about the limit?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, as long as you just keep an eye on it. Like, well, I usually run two filters under my seat. Yeah, one for bug lugs there in case he needs one.
And also, dust a lot. Don't you, Rooster?
Yes, we do.
You do. So, while we're talking
hey, I'm not the only one.
While we're talking about filters, I think Dave Darcy was talking on one of the threads. They didn't have springs in there. So if you look at these, the end of the filter is very thick. Okay, that's got that extra bit. It's not that thick. It's double that in here. So we tried one without a spring. It kept closing in, didn't it, Rooster?
Yeah, it was no good.
Rev over 7,000 revs. So there was a thread on Facebook a while ago where people say, "Oh, I want rev over 7,000 revs." I was lucky. I found a private test track that a friend of mine had, and I was able to take a video on the private test track. I'll just take a hole here. It ran 10,000 revs in fourth gear. On private test track, and that's the difference between having a spring and not having a spring. Because what happens is they're oiled up, obviously, and it sucks the end in, and it's that thick. Like I tell you now, it's that thick. Like it's that thick in there. So if you don't have that spring, that'll be the difference.
And once you got a bit of dirt on it, it makes it even worse.
Yeah. And that's the other thing with air filters I'd really like to cover off. You hear people say it got dusted because it was too dirty. And here's some examples. If you look at a filter, as opposed to that new filter I had, you look at this area here, you can see how big. You can't really, but you can imagine how big the holes are. Okay, so now as you start to cover the holes up, the area, the whole area is actually, so imagine there's a hole, and they're all holes in the filter, right? You get a bit of dirt and it covers half of the hole. Then you get another bit of dirt and it covers the other bit of the hole. The holes are getting smaller. The filter's actually getting more and more efficient, okay, to a point if it's oiled and oiled properly. And it becomes more efficient. I can supply data on how we've learned all this when I worked at Caterpillar on that. The trouble is, and blokes like Mcstroker will tell you, we did a tour years ago, and 10 days in, Strucky's bike was burning fuel. DR 650 was burning fuel more than a road train truck. Like, we couldn't believe he was like a massive big tank and getting 300 kilometers out. So it was a carbureted bike, and it was running so rich because it wasn't getting any air. Now, a fuel injected bike will cover it to a point, but after that, it'll start to richen it up, and that'll be the problem there. We run Motul filter oil because that filter there was probably oiled, I don't know how long ago, and it's still got oil in it and still making spider's webs. Where we see, my favourite one's no oil. People go, oh, I use no oil because it's easy to put in the filter, and you can wash it out in water. It's easy to wash out. If my air filter is easy to wash out, I don't want that. I want to have trouble getting the oil out of it. Okay, so years ago we used to run XR 650Rs, and they'd be that's a WRA filter. They're a side filter like that, and we had a suspension day somewhere, and we went there, and the guy had no filter oil. He'd done his filter about 3 weeks before. When we took the side cover off, this was all dry. This little bit here at the bottom was wet, and the bottom of the filter box was all full of oil. The oil just literally ran down it. So if you think it's easy to do, or there's got to be a reason for it. So you want something that's really tacky. Bell Ray or Motul filter oil for me is choice.
Good stuff. Phil was asking earlier when we come into Tassie.
Oh, Phil. So I don't know if anyone's left watching, or most people have cut their throats by now or hung themselves from the ceiling. But we've been talking a lot about going to Tassie. There was some talk about the 2022 bridge to bridge coming out of Tassie. The stalling point we seem to find with a lot of people is it's the cost of the ferry. And yeah, the specials run at certain times, and that we will get there, Phil. I could say to you when you're coming to New South Wales, mate, but no, I've been to Tassie a couple of times. Look forward to getting down there. Next year's bridge to bridge will be the biggest bridge to bridge we've ever run. Yeah, and we are looking forward to probably announcing that. We're working on some logistics, but let's just say if you wanted to go from one side of the country to the other, there'd be a bridge on each end, I reckon. Yeah, go for that.
Yep. Okay. Charlie's asked, he lost connection earlier, but he said he'll check it out. The OEM crash bars. I can't see the rest of the question. He said he asked a question about it earlier, but I haven't seen it, so I'm not sure specifically, but can you comment on the OEM crashes?
So we tested all the crash bars with the lay hands on early days. So this is a set of Outback Motortrek, and I'll get to you where you're going, Charlie. This is a set of Outback Motortrek ones. These would be simply the strongest, most protective crash bars on the market. Okay?
Great to fit.
They used to be shit to fit. They have fixed up a lot of things. Things like these bolt heads, you couldn't get them down. You used to have to turn the bolt heads down because the welds would get in the way. Stuff wouldn't line up. The top one used to be out on the other side. All those issues, but to be fair to them, they have fixed it.
Strong as. They
are strong. Probably the strongest on there, but they're as ugly as a hatful. Okay?
I don't agree.
Well, that's only because you're wrong. So, the OEM crash bars are these ones, okay? They bolt at the back here, and there's all sorts of... and there was one in Europe that had a monumental accident, and it broke the back of the engine casing in there. If it didn't break that, it was going to break something else. But that, to be honest, is the only one I've heard of. Okay, let's be fair. And it becomes a little bit of folklore on that. And I could get on to people go, oh, you can't run those tyres because they're not DOT approved. You won't get insurance or get canned. Find me someone that's had their insurance canned. Not someone that knew someone whose neighbour's dog ran across the road. Find me the actual person. Okay. Doesn't happen. So back to these. I digress. Is that a word?
It is.
Yeah.
Digress, yeah.
I digress. These provide more than enough strength for what we do. I like the compromise of strength, looks, and weight.
Ugly.
Okay, but we have tested them. The boys have tested them. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, we have.
The good thing about it, and something has to give. This is what I don't like about those. Something has to give. All right. There has to be. You can't. When you've got a force coming, you have to. It has to. Something has to bend. If something doesn't bend, then something will break. We've had these bend in against here. You put a strap around here like a tie down, hook it up to a pole like that pole there, and just hold a bit of slack, hold the bike out and just go bounce. 2 or 3 bounces and they'll be back where they are.
Yep. Clay was just commenting just about the engine bolts on these.
Yep.
So I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
What were the engine bolts?
Just about, I think he was talking about, I can't see it now, I think he talked about snap engine bolts with these. I'm not sure if he was referring
So
to
you
that.
have had, let me give this just for a sec.
Yep.
Have a quick look at.
Yeah, they did, one on each side.
We've had both these bolts come loose.
Yeah.
We've tensioned them up. And for those that don't believe, Lincoln's
But they look good.
Look at this, mate.
Hang on, let's get the big boy toys out.
I can't wait to go with that.
It's a dead set lightsaber.
And look, I'm famous for the Agadogas, that's for true. But yeah, we tensioned them. They came loose. I had to helicoil one side. I think that's what he's talking about. But yeah, we have had one bolt fall out of up here too. Didn't we, Rooster?
Yeah, out of one of the bikes. Both sides came out.
Both sides.
Yeah.
That probably is a maintenance thing more than anything.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the bikes we tried a different set of crash bars on.
Yeah, right.
Oh, what else we got? Nah, that's about it.
All right, well, I don't know if this has been a success. I just wanted to touch base with everyone. Look, we do miss everyone, and riding is my life. It's all I do, and it's funny how I was sort of maybe whinging about doing too much of it, and now I miss it so much. So we're busting to get back, and we're busting to get out with everyone. What I can say is if we don't see you before we get out a release and you get to go out, be bloody careful because everyone will be out there. It'll be nut city. It will be keep left. That's all I can tell you. When we all get out, everyone's going to be out there, keep left, okay? To my crew, guys and girls, Mick, John, Mickey G, Rooster, Clay,
Billy
Mcstroker, Crash, Troy there. Hang in there, guys. You've been fantastic. I miss you all, but we'll get back into it soon. Yamaha, we've had talks with Yamaha today about next year. They're keen, they're eager to go. It's such a good company and so much support. David Poole. Why isn't David Poole asking any questions? He's all talk.
He's been a bit quiet. I don't know what's going on.
Do your best Poole impersonation. Go on, Rooster. He's shocking.
Uli. Hey,
It's too long.
Damien Spear said it's been great, mate. He's enjoyed it tonight.
Yeah, well, as I said, we'll do it every Friday night, man. But if you get some questions, we can get some stuff together. Like, I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to delve in. This is my total preparation. Next year's events.
Give away the secret.
What about this year's future lives on YouTube? So the question I've got, and people can answer, is if we switch this format to YouTube, would that be easier for you to watch? Because it would be easier for us to produce. Although I think this has worked really, really well. So
yep.
I'm happy to do either.
Give us your comments on that, guys. What format you'd prefer to see it on?
And any questions, and Trent, if you're thinking about buying a 700, I can here to give. You're more than welcome to come and take one for a weekend, mate, and have a ride, or come up there or something. We'll sort something out. So I hope you guys are doing well and safe up there, and hope you're all doing really well and safe. And we can't wait to get back out there and whatever. We'll share some other stuff next week. So what's official? We're doing next Friday.
Apparently.
Okay. Do we do the lightsaber sign out?
Well, we at least go over and say goodbye.
All right, well, hang on. Before we do that, I just want to say goodbye to everyone. I want to say thanks to my crew, who a lot of the times think I'm insane, let's be honest. And when I say to them,
Certified.
we're going to ring you up and you're going to appear on and talk and they what about and whatever, but they all chip in and they have a crack. And Clay for looking up how to do this. As always with the media stuff, Clay's been there. I'm going to get some YouTube stuff out on our channel next week. I've just done a thing on suspension linkages because everyone's talking about, how the suspension linkages are corroded. The suspension linkages have not been pulled out and greased on this bike in 36,000 kilometres and all the shit it's been through, and there's nothing wrong with it. The corrosion on the bolt is there, but it's there, and I'll explain how it doesn't matter a big rat's rectum. That's technical speak. All right, so we'll say goodbye to Rooster. So just hit the top button and get rid of Rooster. See ya. And we'll say goodbye to everyone else, and we'll sign out with the RideADV sign out. See you later, everyone. Comments for next week. Love it, hate it. We're prepared to live by the sword and die by the sword. Oh, I didn't get to sign Dad in. Oh, bad luck. See you later, everyone.